Hello, welcome to the Framelines Photography YouTube show. The intro needs some work, I think. This is Josh. Today I'm going to be talking about street photography. What street photography has meant to me over the last few years, how I got into it, and then ultimately how I ended up getting to the point where I've now got a book published of street photos, which is what I'm holding here. It's quite surreal to actually be finally holding this in my hands. This is called Brilliant Parade. It's a collection of 50 street photographs published by an independent publisher in London called Setanta Books. But I thought I'd make a video sort of about my background of street photography and how I ended up getting to this point. So this is my street photography story, I suppose. Let's see how many times I can say street photography in this video. So photography for me kind of really started when I was 15, 16. I saw that there was an option to take an A-level in photography at my local college. So I started taking that. We had to shoot something like 3 to 5 rolls of Ilford HP5 black and white film every week. We would develop them by hand, make contact sheets, make darkroom prints. It was just a really fun experience. We also learnt kind of about the history of photography, the kind of black and white masters, Ansel Adams, Eugene Atget, Brass Eye, and then we just kind of really started from the ground up. It was really exciting. I think as I was like 15, 16, I maybe didn't really appreciate it as much as I would do now if I was doing it, but it's quite a fun kind of piece of experience to have behind me, I guess. I remember specifically the week that the tutor introduced us to street photography. They showed us some pictures taken by Gary Winogrand and Joel Meyerowitz, and they just blew my mind completely. I'd never seen anything like it before. I had no idea that was even possible to take pictures like that of people on the street. The way they kind of arranged subjects within a frame. It was just extremely exciting. I mean, I'd maybe only been into London maybe half a dozen times. I'd never really even considered going to New York, and it was just really eye-opening to see that. And then from Gary Winogrand and Joel Meyerowitz, the tutor introduced us to Martin Parr, and his work resonated with me even further, being British, his use of bold colour. I was just so excited by that, to the point where I managed to persuade the tutor to let me take pictures in colour instead of black and white. We didn't actually have the ability to process black and white. We didn't have the ability to process colour film, so I ended up having to switch to digital. Digital cameras at the time were mainly those kind of like 2 megapixel point and shoot cyber shot things. So I have So this is what I was using for film at the time. It's my first ever camera. It's my Olympus OM10 with the 50mm 1.8, and I opted to go for a 2 megapixel cyber shot thing instead. Pretty embarrassing when you think about how popular kind of these SLR cameras are for film and stuff now, but I didn't know at the time. But that's what I ended up using. The pictures I think were just all really terrible. It was like portraits of my friends smoking, pictures of like overflowing bins, I seem to remember. I don't know why. So after the A-level, I just really kept up photography as a hobby, kind of taking pictures of friends, taking pictures on holiday, nothing really serious, just, enjoying it for what it was. Maybe only really taking pictures once a month, every couple of weeks, not to the frequency I am now by any stretch. And then I think, about 6 or 7 years ago, I went on holiday to New York, and I remember walking down kind of Fifth Avenue or one of the busy streets, and then kind of being reminded of the pictures of Gary Winogrand and Joel Meyerowitz that I got so excited by back when I was studying photography. And I kind of, as soon as I got home, went and started looking at their books again and kind of reinvigorating that kind of excitement I had for street photography back when I was studying photography at the age of kind of 15 or 16. So I kind of almost went back kind of full circle and just kind of revisited everything and just kind of got super excited again. And just any kind of free time I had, I would just get the train up into London, take my camera and just walk up and down the street taking pictures. No real kind of goal in mind, just I wanted to kind of see what I could get, really see if anything interesting happened. I just found that the more time I spent taking pictures, the more pictures I would get that I was happier with, and kind of my tastes would change in terms of what I kind of thought was a good picture. And then I just hammered at it obsessively for a few years. Picked up photo books, picked up street photography books, met other photographers on the street. You can usually see people when they're out and about with their kind of cameras on Oxford Circus, having a chat with them, and just really kind of dedicated any free time I had to taking pictures on the street. And then I ended up kind of sort of collecting pictures together and maybe trying to kind of look for themes. Something that kind of became apparent to me in the pictures I was taking, kind of accidentally. It wasn't something I was looking for, but kind of there's this humor theme developing. I always like to kind of think I have a good sense of humor, or maybe I don't take myself too seriously. And then I ended up kind of taking these pictures that maybe some people said were funny, which was really exciting to me, because that was a kind of, I guess that became a goal, not subconsciously, but it kind of developed over time. So I just kind of hammered on with that for a few years, taking pictures on the tube, going to events, dog shows, traveling all over London, trying to explore different parts of London. Primarily the pictures in this book are taken in kind of zone 1, zone 2 in a couple of parks. But after a few years of taking these pictures on the tube, etc., all over town, Setanta Books kindly approached me at the end of last year and said we should kind of put a selection of these pictures together into a street photography book. And I was like, 100% yes, super excited, let's do it. So I sent over a load of pictures I thought that would be good for the book. And they have a designer called Tom Booth Woodger, who kindly put together an excellent sequence for the pictures. I mean, I always kind of had an expectation in mind as to how they should be put together, but the way he did it actually kind of far outshone anything I could have put together myself. I mean, it was such a great experience alone just to have someone else looking at my pictures in that way. So huge thank you to Tom for everything he did with this. He did the design as well, the kind of typeface and the way the form factor of the book and the cover and everything. But I really it's something that kind of needs to be appreciated in person, I think, just the way it feels, and it's so like premium and nice. You can tell I'm a bit obsessed with it at the moment. It's just the novelty hasn't quite worn off yet. So I'll just have a little flick through here, some of my favorite pictures, so you can see. Like I said, the way I was excited about street photography when I was at college, I really like the idea of kind of arranging people within a frame, trying to find these weird serendipitous moments. So this picture in particular of the woman in the Tate Britain kind of matching the background behind her, I really like this picture. I think I just got really lucky with the way she is matching almost exactly the art installation. I found after years of taking pictures, these kind of like serendipitous moments were the pictures I enjoyed taking the most, and what I was kind of found most rewarding when I managed to get them. But of course you have to take a lot of terrible pictures first in order for those to kind of appear. So there's also quite a lot of pictures from the London Underground or the Tube in the book. I absolutely love taking the Tube. I love taking pictures on the Tube. I think it has that real kind of quintessential London feel to it. I really like the lighting. There's something quite romantic about it. I can't wait to get back on the Tube and take pictures on the Tube again. Absolutely love it. But overall, this book for me is it's quite special. I think when I first moved to London, I didn't really like London very much. I was kind of a bit like, everybody seems to keep themselves to themselves. It doesn't really have much of a kind of community feel. I think actually the act of getting out and walking around and seeing people and I felt more part of the city, and being able to kind of distill all the pictures I've taken into this physical book. And it kind of reminds me of the fun I had taking the pictures. It's just, I'm really passionate about London now. I'm obsessed with London, to be honest with you. I love it here so much, and I really hope this comes across in the book and the pictures. But if anybody does want to pick one up, I'll leave a link in the description below. So that was me rambling about my book and street photography. If you made it this far, thank you for sticking it out, and please do like and subscribe, and see you next time.